September 14th, if you did not hear the news, 1047 Games, the developers of Splitgate, have secured in its latest round of funding $100 million, and the video game company 1047 Games has a valuation of over $1 billion.
This really is about continuing our journey as a community first game studio. We're still in the exact same structure where if you guys tell us, hey, we want to go make this game mode, we can go do it. I mean, it's very rare. We are probably the only gaming company out there that is this well funded and can still operate totally independently. Most of the game companies that have this kind of budget, they have all sorts of investors or publishers that they have to run everything by, that they have to consult. It's very driven by revenue. We can still operate just like the little tiny indie team that we've been. We just have firepower. I mean, like, we are just thrilled. It's like everything we want to do, let's go do it. We didn't partner with gaming companies as investors. We partnered with VCs who believe in our vision of this community first indie studio. And I think that's important. Our incentives are very, very different than pretty much any gaming company out there on this scale.
It shows, how far we've come. It's a, one of the most significant milestones any company can achieve. But I think what the people want to hear is like specifics, details. What does this mean for this game? Like what can I expect in the coming weeks, months, years?
Yeah, so I mean, in the coming weeks, it doesn't really change anything. The focus is much more on the long term, right? The focus right now is on building a large scale AAA studio. I mean, the way I look at it is everything is now on the table. We're 5 engineers, right? Like there's only so much we can do at such a pace. So we always had to cut corners. There's so much more we can do now. Everything, every crazy idea we've ever thought of, or every crazy idea we've ever heard from the community, like that is now on the table. We're no longer constricted by budget and by team size. Right now, the biggest challenge is just hiring. We really do. We look at Splitgate as something that is 25% done. I think there's just so much more we can do. There's big ideas, there's new game modes, there's new maps. Just the level of polish that we can achieve now just went from borderline AAA to quadruple A, right? We can just hit an absolute new scale. So it's going to take time. So, don't think that we can just take $100 million and throw it and just, all of a sudden we're going to be this quadruple A studio overnight. It is going to take time, and it's very important to us that we hire the right people. We maintain this good culture. We want to do this the right way. We want to hire the right people, and we want to build the game that we want to build, and that empowers us to do it. So that's kind of where we're at right now, is just everything's on the table. So we're super, super thrilled.
Like we've always had the attitude of we want to add all these features. It was just a matter of like, okay, what do we prioritize now? Now we can get down that priority list a little bit more. Like the third, fourth tier of priorities can be worked on with a team like that.
It's not just the low priority stuff. It's the big features where, you think of Forge mode, right? That's a multi-month project. As a small team, it's always been like, well, we can't really afford to have an engineer just focus on this feature that won't even see the light of day for months. So, modes like that, now we can focus on both, big picture, massive features, but also on the short term. We can also, the low priority stuff that doesn't matter enough that we haven't had time to deal with, like that stuff we can focus on. Like we can just, everything is on the table. We can do it all. So just got to hire more people first.
Code redeem on console. What can we say about that? It doesn't work at the moment, like DLC codes.
Here, this is what I'm going to do. I don't know if they've done it yet or not, but I'm going to message the coders and I'm going to say right now, let's get code redeem on console in for next update. So hopefully that happens.
If you've got codes, your codes are safe. They're not going to be invalidated.
Oh, okay. I just got confirmation. It's done.
Just know what you're saying, like your suggestions and just your overall feedback is heard by the top. A lot of people thought this announcement was going to be about esports. What can we share about the future of Splitgate esports?
This announcement will lead to many other announcements. Not only does it allow us to do everything we could possibly imagine in terms of developing the game, but it means everything we could possibly imagine outside of the game is also on the table, right? So esports, we're going to be announcing stuff very soon for that. We're thinking very big with our esports. We're still finalizing the details, but we're bringing in a great partner to help us do this. It's going to be on a much larger scale than these kind of one-off community tournaments that we've done forever. So we're super thrilled. I'm also thrilled because I get to play in it. So
people are, asking about like updates of the game. Is there anything we can tell them about an update coming up soon, maybe?
I think our next one is probably on Friday. Don't hold me to that. We're still finalizing that one. We are a very small team. Every engineer has to work on the game, but they also have to hire people. They also have to interview people, right? There really is a balance of, how much time do we devote towards building features right now and sprinting and just trying to put stuff out as quickly as possible, but also focusing on the long term, which is really what matters right now, which is, hiring, onboarding, mentoring. We're going to be doing more updates more often. It definitely takes time. We want to find the right people.
Do you know how many people now are working on the game?
I've kind of lost track. I think we're above 35 now. We're at 5 engineers. Our goal is to get to 30 engineers in the next few months. That's going to be the focus over the next few months is like, let's build this into a AAA studio. I'd like to get to 100 people total by the end of the year. We've actually been able to hire some really good artists. We hired one person who worked on the Destiny and Halo games. He's just a world-class artist, and he's brought some friends with him.
People want, a better way to report cheaters and report bugs and stuff like that. Is there any improvements to the ability to do that?
I guess I'd turn the question on to you. Like, what would you like to see as a better system for reporting bugs or reporting cheaters?
The website's not a bad place to start, maybe. Just splitgate.com, easy to remember. I think it's time we answer the biggest question of the century, addressing the voice chat bug.
Yeah, we are working on it and making good progress. I don't actually know. Have you guys seen the latest on that? If it's been fixed yet or not?
It's not fixed yet. We believe that we found the culprit of most of the issues. I guess it is technically fixed with the issue that existed previously where you just couldn't cross-platform voice chat at all. That has been fixed. And the biggest culprit we believe we just found, and we're working on fixing it, hopefully very, very soon.
We hear you guys. We see people asking about that a lot. Like, that doesn't go unnoticed. That's how we prioritize what to fix, right? When we see everybody saying, hey, we need this fixed, that instantly jumps to the top of our priority list.
Like Ian said, everything's on the table now. Now it's up to us to leverage our newly found resources.
Yep. Step 1 is hiring, and step 2 is executing.
What kind of role do bots serve in our game? So like, why are there bots?
For new users, we do use bots to just kind of ease them into it. But very quickly, you start playing against humans. We also use bots if somebody quits mid-game. Helps keep the game active if somebody quits mid-game. Or, if you're one of those players at 3 a.m, you queue the most obscure game mode that nobody else is playing. But generally, we're very much prioritizing humans. With this next update, actually, we're going to probably restructure things slightly so that there's not so many different options between Rumble having 10 different game modes and casual also have 10 different game modes. What our thinking is, because we've heard a lot of people saying like, oh, but I want to be able to queue gun game and team deathmatch at the same time. We totally hear that. So I think that's one thing we're going to do is like taking the most popular modes from Rumble, putting them into the mix of casual and just calling it quick play. We want to allow people to be able to have that casual and Rumble mix at the same time without having to go back and forth and choose one. Being able to queue multiple ranked playlists at the same time. I've heard a lot of people ask about that, where it's like, hey, I just want to get a good ranked game, and I don't care if it's 4s or 2s or takedown. So that's something we've talked about doing. It's just like Rocket League, right? You kind of select multiple ranked game modes.
Next gen upgrades. So PS5 specific builds, Xbox Series specific builds of Splitgate. Where are we on those?
We're figuring it out. I mean, we're pretty close to being ready to ship both of those builds, but we're trying to figure out like how much can we really squeeze out of these next gen consoles. We don't want to do a bad job of porting it and just kind of a lazy port where it's like, okay, well, it's 4K, cool, right? We want to be able to have all the bells and whistles and take full advantage of these next gen consoles. We'd rather do the next gen consoles right, even if it takes a slightly longer time period, than just put it out there for the sake of putting it out there.
Obviously, we can't answer all your questions, but if you go to our TikTok, it's just called Splitgate. We have answered a lot of frequently asked questions in the past. We've talked about things like loadouts and sliding, coming on other platforms, skill-based matchmaking. Like we've addressed all these stuff in previous dev streams, and TikTok, we've kind of archived those in bite-sized clips. So check out our TikTok. I've seen a lot of questions about account merging. So, cross progression was the sum up of that. Any plans to let people have the same account between their PlayStation and their PC or their Xbox?
Yeah, absolutely. At some point, I think, step 1, we want to create kind of a Splitgate Connect website where you can actually connect all of your stuff. Step 1 is having account linking where you can do Twitch drops. Step 2 is then taking that system and expanding upon it for, Xbox, PlayStation, PC, where you can actually cross progress. It's definitely something we'd like to do at some point.
Somebody in chat said for esports orgs, is there a roadmap for competitive tournament plans? There isn't like a public roadmap right now, but if you are an esports organization and you are interested in getting involved, get in contact and maybe we can chat about, timeline and stuff so you can maybe get involved. But I mean, we've already said esports is definitely something we want to do. So
oh yeah,
let's chat.
Yeah, we're still finalizing things, but definitely will announce on the esports side soon.
There's a lot of people who have called out matchmaking just being unfair at times. Like, we fully acknowledge what you guys think about that. So I guess the question is, what's our philosophy behind our matchmaking, and why might someone feel like they had an unfair game?
Well, for one, like, we're always looking for feedback. Just saying that you don't like the matchmaking, it's giving you an unfair game, like that's helpful, but more specific definitely helps us actually take action. I think our philosophy is having sort of a balance of loose skill-based matchmaking is how I like to describe it, where you don't want to have something where there's just zero skill based at all, such that you've got Akuvo and a pro player going against a brand new user. That's not fun for anybody. But at the same time, we don't want to have something that's super hardcore where it's just constantly sweaty lobbies. I think we have a pretty good balance, but we're always looking for feedback on that.
Just so you guys know, there is no such thing as a perfect matchmaking system. We can't account for the human element, the human variable.
I will say, being able to queue multiple ranked game modes, like that's something that will instantly improve ranked matchmaking.
This next question actually plugs in very well. Server selection, like the specific regions. How does that selection work if you have an international player base?
I'm not the one who coded this, so, well, I know it tries to get you on the best region possible, right? I believe that it starts with any region under, I want to say 70 ping. I believe it will instantly allow you to go on, and then after a certain period of time, maybe after like 3 to 5 minutes, it expands to 100 ping. Generally speaking, we start as tight as possible. We expand it a little bit, but gone are the days of playing on 300 ping because we just had to put everybody on the same server essentially.
Any plans to add more regions? Highly requested locations such as South Africa, the Middle East, Brazil specifically, for sure.
I think we have it in Brazil, I'm pretty sure.
Maybe what people are saying is they don't get games very often, specifically in South America.
We haven't really done much marketing at all in those regions. We're going big with 1.0. We're going to be marketing worldwide, everywhere. South Africa, for example, if we just added servers there, we wouldn't have the player base in South Africa to support that. Anyway, it's on the table is what I'll say for version 1.0.
NVIDIA Reflex, DLSS, ray tracing, and AMD FSR, which is super relevant to consoles in the future.
Yeah.
Those kind of features, what do we know we can do? What can't we do?
We are working on NVIDIA Reflex at the moment. Ray tracing, unfortunately, I don't think is going to happen. There's a few ways that we've done the rendering with just the portals to optimize that. That seems like it could be a pretty big technical hurdle to do ray tracing. Yeah, the focus is, on performance more than graphics for us.
We have to answer the question of Battle Royale. You can just say yes or no. We don't have to go into it.
I mean, I'm not going to say yes or no. Okay. Having funding has opened my mind to more ideas. But realistically, like, I would never do a battle royale unless I actually thought we had a unique angle on it. Again, it comes down to the community. If that's what the community wants, maybe we come up with something. I'm not going to just do a battle royale for the sake of doing a battle royale. It would have to be something totally different.
Highly requested feature, clan tags.
Could be cool. I think back to the Halo 2 days, right? When you had your clan, you had the overlord of the clan and the staff.
Cool.
It'd be fun. Just any sort of clan or team or whatever it was. Like, I definitely think a clan system could work well.
Limited time events, like what Overwatch does. Just saw that question pop into chat.
I think it sounds like a great idea. No, I think we should do it. I mean, I think it's something we've talked about doing.
A ping system, is that a possibility?
I wouldn't say it's on the roadmap right now. We hear you guys, like we've seen people asking for that. So we'll see.
So people are wondering, once stage 1 of the season challenges is timed up, can you still do those for after when stage 2 starts? The answer is yes. You can do all the challenges. A map editor.
I mean, yeah, we want to do that, of course. Forge mode, map editor, mod kit, all of those things we want to do.
Split screen.
Maybe, but that's a tough one.
Lore in Splitgate. It's being worked on by multiple people. I happen to be one of those people. And let me just say, you're not going to be disappointed. Yeah, all that kind of stuff's getting ironed out.
Yeah, exciting stuff in the future. And I'm just really excited to play Splitgate for the next 10 years.
Yeah. Me too. I really hope you guys understand, like, this is the perfect decision for us, but also for the community. Like, this is what's going to allow us to keep building this game and keep doing it the right way, which is, community first. That's how we've been for 3 years, and that's how we're going to continue to be.
There's just so many questions that are very specific that in this format is impossible to answer everything. So I strongly encourage you guys to go to splitgate.com, go to the news section where it drops down to blog. Our latest blog talked about how do we kind of deal with suggestions from the community, how do we consider them and put them into the game. Okay, I think it's time to wrap this up, everybody. As a social media coordinator, I would love to see more of these dev streams happening.
We're going to do them more often. It's just the last few weeks have been crazy.
Final thoughts before we wrap this up.
Final thoughts. I mean, I think we've said it all along, but like, this really puts us in a unique position. We're going to stay true to our roots. We very much are a community first studio. We're an independent studio. Nothing changes other than the scale and the scope of what we can achieve. This wasn't taking money from, a publisher that's going to tell us how to run our studio. This was very much believing in the long-term vision of a community first game studio. So that's what we're going to keep doing. It's going to be an awesome ride.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap for this Dev Talk today. We'll see you guys next time. Peace out.